Now we will discuss on very important points on social stock exchange. What is social stock exchange? Social stock exchange is a separate segment on existing stock exchanges that helps social enterprises raise funds from public investors. Who can register on the social stock exchange? Not-for-profit organizations, NPOs, and for-profit social enterprises, FPEs, that meet Securities Exchange Board of India's eligibility criteria. How does the social stock exchange help the social enterprises? See, this social stock exchange provides a structured and transparent platform to raise funds and measures impact and ensures accountability to investors. What are the reporting requirements for social enterprises on social stock exchange? They must disclose their strategic intent, social impact scorecard, and financial details regularly. Are all organizations eligible to register on social stock exchange? No. Political, religious organizations, trade associations, and certain infrastructure companies are not eligible. What is a not-for-profit organization in the social stock exchange context? It includes charitable trusts, societies, and Section 8 companies working for social welfare. What is for-profit social enterprise, FPE? A company or corporate body that operates for profit but focus on social impact. What are the criteria for an entity to qualify as a social enterprise? It must demonstrate that 67% of its revenue, expenditure, or beneficiaries align with social impact activities. Then what are the registration criteria for NPOs on social stock exchange? Minimum 3 years of operation, valid 12A, 12AA, 12AB and 80Z registration, and minimum of 50 lakh annual spending. Can international organizations register on social stock exchange? No. Only Indian entities can register. How can NPO raise funds through social stock exchange? By issuing zero coupon, zero principal ZC/ZP instruments, donations via mutual funds, or other SEBI approved methods. Can NPOs raise funds outside the social stock exchange? Yes. They may continue to raise funds through traditional donations, grants, other legal sources. Is it mandatory for NPO to register on social stock exchange before raising funds? Yes. An NPO must register before raising funds via social stock exchange. Can for-profit social enterprises raise funds through SSE? Answer is yes. They can issue equity shares, debt instruments, or raise funds from alternative investment funds, AIFs. Are there investment restrictions on retail investors? Retail investors can only invest in for-profit social enterprises listed on the main board, while institutional investor can invest in all social stock exchange securities. What are zero coupon, zero principal instruments? These are donation-based instruments that do not offer financial returns. Can for-profit enterprise issue ZC/ZP instruments? The answer is no. Only NPOs can issue ZC/ZP instruments. Is there any minimum issue size for ZCZP instruments? Yes. The minimum issue size is 50 lakh with a minimum application size of rupees 10,000 for investor. However, ZCZP instruments issued through public issuance via social stock exchange or private placement to social impact funds under SEBI's alternative investment fund regulations. Can ZCZP instruments to be transferred or traded? No, they cannot be traded, but may be transferred in specific cases like legal inheritance. Is it mandatory for NPOs to list on social stock exchange after registration? No. Registration is mandatory for fundraising, but listing is optional. Listing is optional. What happens if social enterprise fails to comply with the SSC regulations? SEBI may impose penalties, warnings, debarment, or other enforcement actions. How long is an SSC registration is valid? Registration is valid for 1 year, must be renewed annually. What happens if an NPO fails to raise funds in a year? So it can renew registration as long as it meets the disclosure requirements. Can a corporate promoted NPO register on SSC? See, only if it receives less than 50% of its funding from the corporate and maintain independence. What is a social audit? The answer, it is an independent impact assessment of a social stock exchange listed enterprise projects by a certified social auditor. Who can act as a social auditor? Individual certified by NISM and registered with self-regulatory organizations, SROs, under ICAI, ICSI, ICMAI, as a SEBI a registered body. What is a social audit firm? A firm at least 3 years of experience in conducting social impact assessments. Is a social audit mandatory for SSC listed entities? Yes. Annual social audits mandatory. What are the key components of social audit report? It includes impact assessment, governance review, financial sustainability, and compliance evaluation. Thank you.